Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Last day of the week, last video critique of the week. On the weekends, what I'm trying to do now is I will hop on the forum when I can and just chat some responses, but I'm trying to stick to a Monday through Friday video critique and then just weekends to do some text forms. So let's get into the critique. We have a handful of images today. And then we also have Julio has a demo reel for us. So I'm gonna look at that one second. I'm gonna do the images first, and let's start here with Matt. So Matt, really good progress between the first one and the second one. You've got a lot more contrast. You've added some spec, but now it's time to kind of refine those looks in a little bit. So the biggest area of contrast in the original is up here in his hair. And I would like to kind of maybe maintain that. The way that his hair now is getting a little bit dustier, it would be nice to darken that down to kind of match that look, because I think it's important to match that. Secondly, the fall off between this bright area and the shadow areas is a little bit too harsh. We want to soften that up a little bit. Like you see this transition from this bright specular highlight across the forehead here, it's a little bit softer than what we were seeing initially out of yours there, because right now it's like we're actually getting like ridges going down here around his head, and we really want all of the light shaping to be kind of going across. I know there'll be a little bit of that because of the wrinkles in his head, but we really want to push that across. And what we're seeing here is a more subtle gradation of those values, so we just want to soften it across here. In terms of the specular highlights, you're doing a great job adding them. I think they're a little too strong and a little too tight. What I would recommend is doing it as a separate shadow pass. And then the way that you see it here is it's kind of just in a few kind of places, like up here on his forehead, and then around his nose, and then around his chin. And right here it kind of feels, yours is, the second render is feeling almost a little bit metallic because it's kind of happening uniformly around it. So I would peel it so it's not quite hitting the lips and the chin that strongly. It's really just in the parts of the face where, like around here in the nose and on the forehead, where skin oil kind of pours. Skin oil forms and collects and clogs up your pores. Other than that, I think that it's going really well. Just try and get that darker shape in here as well, the way that we're seeing it here. And that, I would say that you are moving along well. So just see where that goes in the next iteration. All right, so Dani, good progress here. Couple things. This building back here is too bright. Like looking at it in context, like I just kind of want this space to go darker back there, so I'm not paying attention to it. So just allow that to get darker. You can probably get a little more saturation up here in your sky. That looks a little bit grayed out. For the light coming out of this window, I would almost break it out into two spotlights. One that's more central, hitting here, and then a larger, kind of broader one, so that you can kind of create more variation between those 2 points. The other thing I would do is, like, it looks like there's a lot of light spilling out of the window, but I'm not seeing the actual interior of this space being illuminated. So it would be nice to get some light on the wall inside of there. And then watch out for these hot specks down here. It's good to get the specular highlights. I see that you're adding those in some areas, but just watch out for that. It might just be because it's low res, but anything that's that contrasty, I would imagine, is going to flicker at full resolution as well. And then watch out, like this is looking very black in there. So just watch out for that. So just kind of again, just refining, pushing, pulling values and getting things to kind of start to fall into place a little bit more strongly. Mana, very good, like your first environment lighting set. Really great job. You're killing it. You're doing really, really wonderfully. A few things to point out. Somebody, I forget who it was. I'm sorry, I'm not giving you proper credit. Shadows could be a little bit harder to get those kind of lines in the reference. I mean, you can adjust that as you see fit, but it would be kind of cool to sharpen those up just slightly. On the street, it would be really nice if you could find a way to get like that crosswalk in there, because I think you can see it here in the reference. That subtle hint at crosswalk is making it not just feel like it's a dark void in that region, because right now it just kind of feels like the edge of a CG file. The colors, you can increase your saturation and contrast levels inside the buildings here. So just like looking in here, versus in here. You can really increase that cool saturation throughout. And then for one of the things I like about this reference is seeing some of the silhouettes in the window here. This glass is a little bit more frosted, but I still think that you can get some outlines of, like, not necessarily people, but of like maybe a bookcase, maybe a couch, maybe a clock or something, you know, like a standing clock, or just something kind of blocking the light to break up the shadow a little bit. But overall, this is looking really well. You hit the camera angle really nicely. And then, yeah, it's just a matter of kind of matching or getting your colors more aligned. Also, your warmer tones are a little bit, and you can totally ignore this comment because you can be like, no, that's kind of what I wanted. Yours is more yellow in tone versus the reference, which is just kind of a warmer orange, like sunset type feel. But yeah, other than that, I think you're moving along really well. So let's keep seeing some updates. And then there are things like this. The top of these awnings can go darker. So that was in terms of the contrast. I think your brights are in a good spot. I just think your darks can go a little bit darker. Like in the shadow area, you can get more variation by adding more dark values in there. But overall, really, really well done. Holly, making some progress here. The biggest thing, again, you're getting some really nice, robust colors, robust specular highlights. It's a little hard at the lower res because, like, something like this building is super grainy, and it's hard to tell what is what there. So I'm going to withhold a lot of critiques on stuff like that until we see it at a larger resolution. But the biggest thing I want you to work on is your figure-ground relationship. And in this particular case, it just means I like getting this ground or this road in here to read the same way. Again, like you're kind of seeing it down here. And I'm not saying that these are perfect, but I just really, like, it just kind of feels like this just feels like something that's passing through the building as opposed to next to it. And it looks like it's like headlights because there are two of them, but they're too normal, like they're too consistent, like they're spaced out evenly, which makes me think actually they're street lights, but then there's two of them and then they're on either side, and I'm just kind of confused as to what they are. So I think that I would just work towards establishing that and clearing out some clutter down there to make sure that reads. But overall, again, things are looking really well. You've got a lot of positive elements going on here. I think the yellow color that you use is a little bit too much on the green side. I would push that a little bit warmer. Let's see if we can find one in the reference. Yeah, so like I'm trying like something along this line, but not quite that red, more like this in terms of a color scheme. But yeah, I think it's going well. And then once we kind of get that stuff, I think you're good to start adding your atmospheric elements back in there. But I think this is looking, I think it's coming together really well. All right, let's hop over to Julio's demo reel. So let's just walk through. As you said, we've seen a lot of these before, but I'll talk about like structure and order. Okay, that breakdown was a little bit fast. Like it's a little hard to see. It's like it all just kind of happened at once. So I would slow the pacing it down on that a little bit. Yeah, this stuff we've seen, this is cool. There's some banding going on here. And with this one too. Yeah, that one's working out pretty well. Okay, let's skip ahead. Yeah, just some alias issues in that. That might just be my playback though. Love these pockets of light that he's walking through. The way that those two shots cut together is a little strange because the skin tone is so different between, like, it looks very cool there and very warm there. So I would maybe not put those two shots side by side. This one's looking good. I just want to get more darkness in that shadow in that alley back there. That one looks nice. The kid could use a little more shaping on his face. It's the light's hitting him a little bit broadly. But I like the goboing there. Yeah, we worked with these a lot. Just looking at this last one in the cut, wondering if maybe we don't tone down if you just do like a garbage mat to tone down the red saturation in these flowers to allow his red to be the most saturated thing in the shot, but I'll let you be the decision maker on that. Okay, and at this point, it just kind of feels like we're playing the whole animation, and I think we can be more selective about the shots that we're choosing. So, okay, this out of focusness feels a little strange there. That one just felt a little bit like a miniature. So yeah, I would take down that blur. And yeah, okay. So I think my biggest notes were there was one breakdown here at the beginning, and it was a little bit too fast. After that, it's all kind of just like one project here, which is fine. It just feels like there are a lot of shots in it. So there are a few that you can take out. Let's see if we can identify those real quick. So I think you probably take out this one. I like this one because he's passing through pockets of light. I like this shot a lot. I like this shot a lot. This one I think you could take out. This one, I think this looks better if it just kind of starts in here and goes along. I'm not crazy about the raindrops, but I think just that works out really well. This one's good. Good. I think you can maybe take out the end of this one and just have it just be like these three transitions, because I think the end isn't the strongest part of the shot. That shot you can take out. That's nice. This is nice. And then it's just like in here. I don't think that shot's necessary. I think you can get away with taking out that one. This one's good. This one I would take out. Those last few I would take out too. Just because I think they're weaker. And it's like this is a weaker... this one's not bad. But if you're going to end on one, I would end with this scene. So do these at the beginning and then end with this one because it's a little bit stronger lighting than the others. Yeah. Okay, I hope you guys found that helpful. If you have any questions at all, please just let me know. And I will talk to you all very soon. Have a wonderful, safe weekend, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you on Monday. All right, take care. Happy lighting.